Okay. All right. I'll start you off with an interesting statistic. According to a New York State website, over 31 billion bottles of water costing over $11 billion were consumed by Americans in 2006. With a 10% rate of recycling, there is over 2 million tons of plastic placed in our landfills every year. As you can see, it's a little bit of consumerism run wild, and we need to address these wasteful consumerist issues. I intend to show you a need to stop purchasing plastic bottles. And I want to do this first by dispelling some of the rumors about bottled water, or misconceptions I should say, the true quality of bottled water, some of the inconveniences of bottled water, and lastly, some good alternatives to bottled water. Okay, starting off with the quality of bottled water and some rumors around it. I was under the assumption, and I'm sure most of you are, that the quality of bottled water is better than that of tap water. However, a study done recently on USA Today stated that bottled water is no better than tap water. In fact, it contained the same amount of contaminants, which led the researchers to believe that they were simply bottling municipal water sources. But the only major difference was that it costed about 1,000 times as much. Another study conducted by the Environmental Working Group tested 10 major brands of water. And in those 10 major brands, they found 38 different types of pollutants. Most of the pollutants were not even supposed to be in the water and weren't found in any municipal water sources. 8 out of 10 contained cancer-causing agents at higher levels than the voluntary industry standards. These voluntary industry standards are what they say the quality of their water should be, because the FDA does not actually test their product. So they set their own voluntary standards, and then they don't meet those standards. Another major thing they found was 4 out of the 10 actually had bacterial growth inside of them. And this took place at the factory where they filter the water. And since it's an unregulated industry, the filtration systems that they use a lot of times are old, or maybe they use them too much, which allows bacteria to grow. And when they let this bacteria get into the bottled water, when it sits on the shelves, it gives it time to get more bacteria in it. I'm forgetting the name here. Next, I want to talk to you about some of the inconveniences of bottled water. As we all know, that there is some major conveniences to bottled water. You got that grab-and-go bottle. You know, you don't have to worry about where you're going to get a drink from. You just have it and you go, right? But we don't really stop to think about the inconveniences of bottled water. First is you have to purchase it at the store, which means you have to carry this big, heavy box. You got to carry it to the register. You usually can't even get it out of your basket. You cause everybody to wait. It would be easier just to be able to do something at home to get the same quality of water. Secondly is the cost, and you're paying that cost at an average cost of $3.72 a gallon for bottled water. If a family consumed 1 gallon of water per day, that would equate to $1,339.20 a year wasted on bottled water. Why would you want to pay a premium for something that's the most abundant substance on earth? I mean, if you think about it, it's really not that convenient. Another inconvenience of bottled water is its inconvenience to the environment. Chris Baskin, editor of Lighter Footstep online articles, gave me some information. 1.5 million tons of wasted plastic from water bottles are put into our landfills every year. To produce that 1.5 million tons, there's 47 million gallons of oil to produce. So as you can see, it's not only an inconvenience to us, but it's an inconvenience to the environment also. Lastly, I want to cover some alternatives to bottled water. And I brought you guys some stuff from my house to show you how simple and easy it can be to reduce your dependence on bottled water. This is a Brita water filter. It costs $34.99 new with a filter, and it costs 31 cents per gallon to filter your water, as opposed to $3.72 a gallon. This is a fridge filter. This I actually took out of the fridge this morning, but this will filter your water for about 12 cents a gallon and will last about 6 months. I don't know what the original cost of this is, but these cost about $20 a piece. Next is some refillable filters that I brought for this Brita filter, and the cost of using this is, I think I already covered that. Next we have a Nalgene bottle, and this bottle is completely reusable. It costs $11.50. It's actually got treatment on the plastic to keep bacteria from growing in it, and you can use it, I don't know, 1,000,000 times if you want to. And lastly, my favorite alternative is tap water, which has been proven to be just as clean as bottled water, but costs 0.2 of a cent per gallon. So you can really see the cost disparity there. So now that you've seen some of the cost differences and how much cheaper it can be to do it at home, bottled water has become a dangerous trend. But for some, the trend has become the opposite. And one big proponent of not using bottled water is Lance Armstrong, and he started the Drink Clean, Go Green campaign, in which his main product, he's selling a clear-to-go bottle, which is a bottle similar to this, but it has its own built-in filter. So you just pour the water right in the top, and then as you drink it, it filters out the parts that you drink. It's pretty neat. You can see it on his website. With this evidence in mind, we can all work to reduce our dependence on bottled water. So I hope you enjoyed my speech. Thank you very much.
Warren, you here?
Yeah.
Let's hear from you.
Okay. You have a very interesting attention device, solid transitions, good eye contact. You had all the citations in the right place. And then you discussed the problem and went over ways to save money and cut down on waste.
Thank you.
All right. Don't you feel a little self-conscious standing there waiting for all the comments? Yeah, I mean, you can. It's okay. It's all right. What, are you new?
I still have to break down my display, that's all.
Oh, okay. I thought everything in the introduction was fine. You had a good setup, dramatic statistic to get our attention. You told us what your goal was. You had a very clear layout of what the structure is going to be. It's easy to follow. You do clear signposting throughout the speech, so we're not going to get lost. I think you could do a little bit more to develop the issues on the environmental impacts of the bottles. What's the impact, you say, because you just kind of put it, how many millions of tons there is that's going into the landfills. What's the problem with that? What are some of the consequences? Are we filling up the landfills? Is there leaching of the product into our water table that creates a problem? You mentioned how much oil had to be produced in order to make these bottles. So what's the impact of that? Is it air pollution because the oil has to be processed? Is it an economic issue because we're substituting that for using the oil for our fuel systems or something along those lines? Other than that, I thought the rest of the speech was really solid. You have an excellent solution. You did a good job trying to build some emotional appeals into the speech, especially on the cost issues. I think I heard a few people gasping when they heard how much it is, per gallon in comparison to the different kinds of filtering systems, and that price coming out of the tap. Most people are going, really? Now, the one thing that I think you might have had a little bit of more information on would be comparison on taste, because I think a lot of people think that bottled water tastes better than tap water, and is there a way to address that issue that might have overcome some people's reservation on that point? That's a rebuttal kind of argument that's probably in the back of some people's heads. But the presentation I thought was really solid. I appreciated the shirt, by the way. I give you an extra point for that.